Hey yo, salute to all my subscribers. Special shout out to everybody else passing through. YouTube, what's good? Hey yo, so I meant to do this album review like over a week ago. I was trying to wait for my sister Jasmine from the comfort zone. Salute to her. And we were talking, going back and forth about this album. I think we actually one night even started to do an album review. And I don't know if something happened, if we had some issues, technical difficulties or some shit, and we just ended up never coming back around to it. But I'm actually kind of glad that we didn't do it that night, because when we were first talking about the album, because see, me and Jasmine, we're in our early 30s, and we actually grew up on Usher. I was in 7th grade when Usher first came out. And since about around that time, maybe a couple years after, he's consistently been hands down, probably, definitely in my top 3 favorite R&B artists. And every single time that Usher has dropped an album, every single time, it's like he like reinvented himself and showed why he was just one of the hottest in the game as far as entertainers, performers, vocalists, just everything around the board. My generation is really a generation that grew up on Usher. And I really can't think of a single album that he has dropped up until the album before this most recent one that I didn't play in heavy rotation. I mean, everywhere. Having said that, I'm very disappointed in this album. Disappointed not because the album is not good, depending on what standards you judge albums by. But when me and Jasmine was talking about it, she was saying that she thought that this was a collaboration album. From what I see, from what I've read about the album, first of all, Usher announced the album last minute. That's kind of the trend now. He announced a surprise album literally hours before he released it. Album's called A. And he has an exclusive producer for the entire album. Supposedly a well-known super producer out of Atlanta by the name of Zaytoven. And maybe this is an Atlanta sound, an Atlanta bump. And I'm not going to say it's trash. It's just a different sound from what I'm used to. But more importantly, the reason why I'm so disappointed in the album is because, like I said, every year consistently for the past easily 10 years, every time Usher has dropped an album, he has managed to, seemingly without even trying, stay current, maybe even stay a little bit ahead of the trend of the industry. He's had no issue reinventing himself, and every single time it's a new sound, but it's that familiar Usher sound that we have all come to know and love over the years. This album just didn't do it for me, though. It seems like he's drastically changed his sound every time over the course of the past 3 albums. Now, the last album that I really did enjoy, the last 2 albums that I really enjoyed, the Here I Stand and the Usher vs. Raymond album. After that, I mean, this past album and then this most recent one, I don't know. I haven't even found a single song on this recent album. It's only 8 tracks long. That seems to be the trend also now with album lengths. With the short attention span for people in streaming music, and music comes out, and the second it comes out, it's like, as soon as it hits the streaming sites, it's already out of date, and we're already waiting for the next album by the next artist or whatever. But I was expecting, at least out of an 8-track album by Usher, I was expecting at least 2 or 3 to be songs that I could play on heavy rotation like daily. I can't even play these songs on my way to work. I'm just not feeling them like that. And again, maybe, the album is titled A. I'm guessing that's for Atlanta. And maybe this is like a going home album. Maybe this is a sound that is familiar to Atlanta. And if so, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? If he did it for home, that's dope. I can't find anything that I can vibe with. I just can't. And so because of that, and because of what my expectations are for Usher, and because of every single album up until this one and the most recent one right before this one, I don't know. I mean, I was talking to Sis and she was saying might be washed. He might be washed out here in these streets. She thinks he's done. I think, I hope there's another album coming. You know, this is the sad part. See, I have a hard time finding artists nowadays that I'm really into, that I can really enjoy, because there's a generational gap. The music, the way it sounded when I was coming up, and the music that I'm into is going away. There's a whole new trend that's been taken over in the past 5, 6, 7 years. But those few artists that I have grown up with have managed to, stick around and consistently stay relevant. Problem is, I'm getting older, and the artists who I grew up with are getting older also and fading out of the music industry. And a lot of them, as they get into talent development and they break new artists and they're getting into playing the background, going into producing and, going into other areas of the music industry, or leaving it altogether, it's becoming increasingly hard for me to find new artists that I'm into. I mean, there are a few, but it's hard because, I fuck with the younger generation and I fuck with the sound that they keep finding ways to reinvent. And I like the drive and I like the ability to be more creative and take the music industry further and further. But at the same time, I'm just used to the sound that I'm used to. And Usher is one of those last of the Mohican real R&B artists. Because if you pay attention, a lot of the R&B artists nowadays, they almost have more of like a rapper vibe. They almost want to be, I don't know, it's not like singing like we're used to singing. When you think of people like Tyrese, Tank, Usher, another R&B artist who I will not mention because of recent child molestation issues, allegedly. But this album, Usher, this album, it sounds like, I don't know, like he's trying to be the younger R&B artist, and that's not what we look for. That's not what I look for when I think of an Usher album. So I'm kind of disappointed. I mean, Sis was arguing that some of the songs on here, they're actually not that bad, that she actually likes a few of the songs. I didn't catch which ones. There were a couple that sounded okay. I mean, clearly he can still sing. That's usually the last thing that you lose is your voice. But I don't know, the content. Maybe it's the content. It doesn't speak to someone of my age. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm looking for real soulful R&B, and I'm looking for it from those artists that I've always gotten it from. And I mean, I can't really be mad. I can't really blame Usher for wanting to stay current, for wanting to reinvent his sound and appeal to a younger crowd. But sometimes you got to cater to your original fans. And again, I could be totally off base, because if he's catering to Atlanta, if that is an Atlanta sound, and if anybody from Atlanta is watching this, let me know. Because if this is an Atlanta sound, then I'm totally off base, and I can't be mad at him for, paying tribute to his home. But I don't know. I would at least, even if that was the case, and even if that's what you were doing, Ush, you could have at least gave the original, the old school fans, the rest of us, at least 1 or 2 songs. Because almost every song on the album, they have that same bounce. And of course, it's going to be that when you have an exclusive producer for the entire 8-track album. But damn, bro, I at least thought I would get 1 or 2 joints that I could be like, yo, this is Usher, yo, you still Usher, you still got it. Out of 10, bro, just because of my expectations. Listen, Beyonce started this shit. You drop a surprise album, that shit better fucking hit. Beyonce did it and got away with it. Few other artists have done it and gotten away with it. Usher, I would have thought, would be one of those artists who could do it and get away with it. But not when you not catering to your biggest core fan base. So out of 10, I can't really go any lower than a 4 with Usher. But I can't give it more than a 5. I got to give it a 5 out of 10. I just don't see it. Let me know what y'all think though, yo. If y'all from Atlanta, let me know. Is this an Atlanta sound? Is that what he's going for? And some kind of an Atlanta bounce? This upbeat tempo shit, yo. It's okay for 1 or 2 songs, not the whole damn 8-song album, bro. I mean, damn. Anyway, 5 out of 10. New Usher album, A. Go check it out. Let me know what y'all think about this one. I'll see you on the next one. I don't pretend to know everything. I just know what I know. Peace and love.